Stay focused. Imperialism continues its actions, but divide and rule must not work on us anymore. You should have understood everything. Stay focused. The struggle continues. And the struggle will always continue until the final victory, which we will celebrate one day when it is homeland or death. We will enter. Thank you very much.
Greetings, everybody. I hope you're doing fantastic, and it's always a pleasure to have you here. What if I told you that Africa does not need aid? Instead of handouts, what this continent really needs is partnership in science, partnership in technology, and partnership in innovation. These were not my words, but the words of our beloved Captain Ibrahim Traoré during his visit in Russia that shocked the world. Today, we break down that powerful moment, what it means for Africa's future, and why this message is shaking the West. Let's have a look.
Our cooperation with Russia will be based more on education and the transfer of knowledge. It will not be a cooperation where we are there asking for help, asking for financial or economic support, and so on. That is not why we are here. We are here to cooperate more in the field of knowledge. And knowledge is much more scientific. And you, here in this scientific university, I admire you greatly because normally you are supposed to learn and practice science, chemistry, and radio technology. This is what we need today in order to develop. I will give you a few examples during my speech to illustrate the core of my thinking. Here, we are at Mendeleev University. Everyone who has taken science courses has studied Mendeleev. And I'm going to share a little anecdote with you. During my school years, there were people who didn't like certain subjects and couldn't manage to learn certain things. So when they couldn't do it, we would nickname them after the scientist who invented that thing. For example, we had people we called Pavlov, and we also had people we called Mendeleev as well. The one we called Mendeleev, for instance, once wondered why Mendeleev created that table. It's to create problems for us. You see, he has to study a table, but he doesn't know why he has to study it. Which means that if he doesn't practice, he doesn't know the usefulness of the periodic table firsthand. That's why I say, in this regard, cooperation is very important so that we can actually practice. It's the same thing with chemical equations that we spend so much time balancing, since I would say high school. We're really good when, on paper, we're told to balance a chemical equation, we do it. When in thermodynamics, we're asked to calculate the standard enthalpy of formation of a substance, we do it. But practically speaking, what do we actually do? For example, has anyone ever shown me, say, an illustration of a nucleus like that of hydrogen and explained what happens if you remove an electron or what happens if you add an electron? I never got that kind of practical illustration. Since high school, we've been doing chemical reactions with hydrochloric acid on paper. But I've never actually handled hydrochloric acid or performed a real experiment with it. This just goes to show you how important practical experience is, and in our countries, we lack the laboratories that would allow us to get that hands-on practice. And you shouldn't become the kind of theorist that I am. That's why we want to replicate this kind of university back home, so that our young people studying scientific subjects can get practical experience and not just be theorists. So many things around us are about the chemistry of materials. The world itself even started with that. This table that Mendeleev created, I believe that all of science is based on it. But it's practical experience that allows you to move beyond being just a theorist and to create something tangible that can be useful to society. And that contributes a lot to the economy of our countries. Without you even realizing it, let me give you a few examples. You see, we import a lot of iron, for example, from all over the world, what we call galvanized iron. And you know very well, you chemists here, that it's nothing more than an electrolysis reaction. Why can't we produce the iron ourselves locally? We have to go buy galvanized iron from China or Burkina, Europe, from all over the world. For example, we are at war. We pay for equipment, now we pay for ammunition, weapons and everything else. When I talk to you about munitions, explosives and all that, Mali produces cotton, Burkina produces it, Niger produces it. But you know very well that it's the cellulose from cotton that's processed to make gunpowder and explosives. Why can't we manage to do it ourselves? Because we don't have practical chemistry. Even for the armor plating of vehicles. Yesterday, I saw many vehicles parading on Red Square, from T-34s to modern vehicles. Armor plating has evolved. What is armor plating? It's a type of steel, and it's through chemistry, that people understood that by adding a certain amount of carbon and so on, you can create a special kind of steel. It's a matter of practice. We know how to do the chemical equations. We know very well that if we add a certain amount of carbon, it gives us steel and so on. But in practice, are we able to actually create the armor plating? And yet, we are at war. And it's chemistry that allows us to do this as well. In the same vein, yeah, you can see all the types of missiles that the Russian Federation is able to develop. And the latest one is the Oreshnik Unity, which is making the whole world tremble. You know, who wouldn't want to have it? But even just the fuel for all these missiles, that's chemistry. Are we actually able to figure out in practice how to create this fuel and try to build an engine to propel a rocket or a missile? There are so many examples that we couldn't possibly finish listing them all, but it's just to tell you that you are lucky to be here, I would say, at the very birthplace of chemistry and mathematics. Because in Russia, there have been scholars in these fields, whether it's physics, chemistry, or mathematics. But as the representative said, history has been distorted, and we've been led to believe that Russians are not strong in certain fields. It's others, the ones who write history, who claim to be strong in everything. But I think today, history shows us that all of that is false. There truly are great scholars. The origin is right here. The proof is Mendeleev, who created the table that summarizes matter, is Russian. So take advantage and learn in a practical way so that it benefits our countries. When a country is weak, it is doomed to disappear in this predatory world. We need to be strong. And today, the countries that are nuclear powers are strong. They never lose a war. But the nuclear bomb, you've all studied atomic science, that's for sure. They tell you it's a neutron that hits a nucleus, which splits and releases energy. We know the equation, but how do you even enrich to change the isotope? How do you enrich? How do you do it in practice? So take advantage and learn, because we need you to develop our countries.
The homeland or death we shall overcome.
Homeland or death we shall overcome.
Homeland or death we shall overcome.
African youth.
We have young talents in the country, inventors, and also scholars who manage to create certain things, but they often lack the mathematical knowledge to improve, update, and be able to have a unique formula for what they do. And I think that, the idea of wanting to replicate these universities in Burkina Faso and making sure that everything necessary is available for young people to learn is a very good thing. And so we will continue to strengthen cooperation with Russia, especially in the area of scientific exchanges and education. And that is the foundation of development. And now perhaps I will give you some advice that should guide you here. I think people say Africa is the cradle of humanity, but Africa has a lot of catching up to do. It's not impossible. It is very much possible. You live here, you see everything just as I do. And it is entirely possible in our countries as well. You must believe, you must work hard, and I urge you to be model citizens here, to respect the rules and laws of the country that is hosting you, to be examples of integrity, to show solidarity, to be the kind of Africans we want to see out in the world. The discipline and order you see here, you should be able to demonstrate even more. So, be supportive of one another, learn well, and focus on what matters most. We need you, and we hope that very soon you will come and create what we dream of for future generations, and teach those generations what you have learned so that they can be even better than you. Everyone hopes that the generations to come will be better than us. I am counting on you to learn and to come pass on your knowledge. In any case, stay focused. Imperialism continues its actions, but divide and rule must not work on us anymore. You should have understood everything. Stay focused. The struggle continues. And the struggle will always continue until the final victory, which we will celebrate one day when it is homeland or death. We will enter. Thank you very much.
That was indeed a very powerful message from our beloved captain. Africa has always had what it takes: natural resources, brilliant minds, and rich cultures. What we have lacked is sovereignty over our destiny. Traore's message is a wake-up call. Africa must rise through cooperation, not dependence. Let us this be the beginning of a new chapter where we invest in our own, build with our own, and dream beyond the limits imposed by foreign aid. Because Africa we want starts with believing that we can build it ourselves. It's time we stop waiting for the West to help us. Africa can help itself, and only those who believe in our potential, who want mutual growth, should sit at our table. Do you agree that with Traore's message that Africa doesn't need aid, just cooperation? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you found value in what we shared, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Your support really means a lot, and it helps us keep bringing you more insightful content. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.